Welcome to Green Noise, a podcast series from CapeNature that is bringing nature to life, and we use white noise to try to sleep better, but green noise to make life better.
You're as high as Victoria Falls at some.
Don't take that out of context about the penguins in ICU.
We basically give penguins medical aid.
Welcome to Green Noise, a podcast series from CapeNature that is bringing nature's stories to life and making bold statements as we champion and celebrate and give voice to nature, conservation, biodiversity, and all of the other really good work that is done by CapeNature and its partner organizations. Today we're talking about ecotourism and entrepreneurship, because I think one of the great maddening falsehoods that people believe is being better for the environment is being worse for your bank balance. And actually, there are myriad extraordinary opportunities as we evolve our ability to protect our relationship with nature and the environment and be more, do better at conservation and biodiversity. There are so many opportunities there for jobs and money making and growth and innovation and expertise. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, ecotourism and entrepreneurship. And I'm thrilled to be joined by two people who know so much more about that than me, or probably you, and what we're going to find out. So firstly, Fatima Borez, who is the Tourism Operations Manager for CapeNature, if I understand correctly, with so much experience doing exactly this kind of work, including some things we're going to talk about later. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. It's a pleasure.
And then Ryan Larkman, who has, if I understand, many years of experience with ecotourism, and is currently one of your big projects is the Cape Canopy Tours, one of which exists in the Hottentots Holland Nature Reserve. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Dan. Great to chat.
Yeah, so I'm just going to start right off with Ryan. How did you end up in ecotourism and figuring out novel and wonderful ways to get people enjoying natural environments like nature reserves in a different way, changing their perspective and actually showing people that there is sustainable money making to be made from being sustainable with the environment?
We were looking for somewhere to put a zipline activity in the Western Cape, but we really wanted it to be special. So after about 10 years of searching, we came across and we established the zipline up in the Hottentots Holland Nature Reserve. It took a lot of planning. You know, we didn't just want this to be a zip line across a caravan park. You know, anybody can do that. It had to be unique and special, and we're really privileged to be able to operate right in the top of the Hottentots Holland Nature Reserve, which is the World Heritage Site, and the area that we've got hadn't even been seen by the park rangers themselves. Wow. So it's completely unique. It's a way to have guests come in, see something that would not normally be able to see. Wow. And experience the beauty of the reserve.
How did they find the location?
We were hiking up and we had a look around. This is incredible. It's 6 kilometers to the top of the reserve. We start at 1,000 meters above sea level. Wow. So it's really tucked away. And it took us a year to construct. So, we're very proud of the way we do it. It's completely eco-friendly. It's in a sensitive location. We didn't use one little bit of concrete. And if we had to move and leave, we'd be able to take everything out and you wouldn't even know that we'd been there. So, wow. Yeah, it's awesome.
So for people who haven't ziplined before and have a vague notion of it, what is ziplining? And in this specific zipline that you've created in this nature reserve, this Cape Nature Reserve, what are people seeing as they move through the air?
Ziplining is using a set of cables to move between 2 points. So you'll sit in a harness and you'll slide between the 2 points, which is super fun. What we wanted to do, though, is use ziplining as the mechanism to show people the mountains and the fauna and the flora. So what we do is a guided nature tour. So we do small little groups, 2 guides who will tell you about the area, tell you about the history and the mechanism of doing that. And it's a way of not having an impact because we're going from platform to platform. You're never touching on nature, is to use ziplining to move people around. We've got 13 different platforms. So that's 11 slides and a suspension bridge over an amazing waterfall. And that takes you through the reserve.
That's amazing.
After which is a short walk out. And to get to that location, we put you on a 4x4 and we take you through a 4x4 safari style journey to get there. So it's a little bit different. Like I said, we're not the big sausage factory. We are a small, unique guided tour which uses ziplining as the mechanism for the tour.
Such a good idea. Sounds absolutely phenomenal. And Fatima, this must be exactly the kind of thing that you like to see in your role at CapeNature, trying to figure out ways to give people novel experiences and ways to experience nature, but also fall in love with nature, and also encourage entrepreneurship.
Concessionary partnerships like Cape Canopy Tours really open up our nature reserves to economic growth in the community. And so when we sign agreements such as the one that we do with Cape Canopy Tours, we look at the economic viability of the business, the growth in the community, the creation of jobs, and the opportunities for small businesses.
I mean, it must be such heartwarming and at least rewarding work. How have you seen it? Because you've been doing work in this kind of sector for a while. How have you seen ecotourism evolve over the last 10, maybe more years?
So ecotourism has evolved. What we are seeing at the moment is a big incline in terms of adventure tourism and travel.
Oh, cool.
Visitors are also looking for immersive travel experiences. So they're really wanting to connect nature with local communities and a learning experience. And so we are seeing that travel experiences are changing. And especially for the future, travelers are really looking for meaningful travel experiences where they can benefit and give back to the community.
That's so interesting. I'm so glad to hear that, because it seems like this kind of activity, going into nature and enjoying it and getting an epic experience and an epic view and learning something about it is deeply meaningful to people, because then they immediately think, oh, I'm so lucky to be in this environment. I want it to continue to exist. I want it to benefit as many people as possible. It feels like an automatically fulfilling thing. You know what I mean?
Is.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so tell me about that kind of partnership that Cape Canopy Tours has with CapeNature and the kind of benefits and opportunities that it provides to entrepreneurs.
We enjoy signing agreements with small to medium-sized businesses. They provide growth to the closest community, either through job creation or through their local supply chain. What they also do, and this is really what our agreements are based on, is that they provide a percentage of the earnings and it goes back into conservation. And that really helps us in protecting and maintaining our reserves.
That's amazing.
I think more importantly is probably the fact that they bring new audiences to our reserves. So the more people experience it, they understand the need to protect it, and that really speaks back to us.
That's amazing. What other kinds of partnerships have you created? What other kinds of businesses at different reserves that are doing kind of things like Ryan is doing?
We've got a variety of water-based businesses, so kayaking, ferry operations, donkey trail in the Karoo. That's
cool.
really a great
You get on the back of a donkey, or you go on a donkey's trail?
On a trail, and a donkey is basically alongside with you, and they carry your luggage.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Such a unique experience.
Donkeys are a vibe. Ryan, you must have got so many people finishing the Cape Canopy Tour. What's it, 11 platforms, 13 lines? Did I remember that?
13 platforms, 11 lines, yeah.
Got it. And I should have done the maths there. There can't be more lines than platforms, obviously. So many people must have done it for the first time and actually overcome a little bit of fear. Because as much as, everybody says it's safer to get on a plane than get in a car, the difference is when you go up in the sky, you're like, and with ziplining, it must be quite similar, where people are nervous about safety and that, but then they come out at the end and they go, I conquered that fear, I felt that rush, and I got this absolutely epic view.
Yeah, you're dead on. We do have people that are nervous, and it's completely normal. We reassure everybody because we go over the top with our safety, but it also means that you've achieved something at the end of the day. We were really worried when we started this whole thing that this would be a bucket list activity and someone would come and tick it off their list and not come back.
Sure.
And it's actually been completely the opposite.
Oh, really?
People that have been with us come again and again, and it's something that's our biggest source of marketing is word of mouth. So it's amazing and it's fun. And even if you're nervous, we're finding those people coming back. So
wow. Yeah. And people must take the most phenomenal video footage from on the zipline if you allow them to.
We do, obviously. Okay. Yeah, we absolutely do. Yeah, it's good fun, and we do little videos for them as well. So, you get great memories.
Yo, I'd love to see a video of someone on a zip line looking down. What do people see beneath them when they're on this zip line at a variety of stages? I know you mentioned the waterfall, but are they above forested areas or amongst trees or over rocky canyons? What's the view?
So we're actually right at the source of the Raffirsone Ant River.
No way.
So that's where it all starts. And for those of you who
Interesting.
don't know, it runs into the Teervaarderskloof Dam, and that's our largest source of water. It runs throughout the year.
Wow.
So we go over waterfalls and we cross the kloof. So there's parts where, yes, you're as high as Victoria Falls at some
Don't
point.
take that out of context.
But yeah. We love to get high up.
That's amazing. And how do you put in an educational element? You said you had a couple of tour guides with these small groups going platform to platform and then talking about what people are seeing.
That's really important. So we send 2 guides with a maximum of 8 people in a group. The one will go in the front and the one will be at the back. The one will be responsible to send the clients safely, one at a time, over to the other side, and the other is a safety guide to receive them safely. But the other aspect of that is to know their names, to tell them about the fauna and the flora, to make it an educational experience. And that's just so much more than just coming somewhere, sliding across a thing, and then going home again. So we have a unique opportunity and a responsibility to inform our guests and visitors to our country.
Yeah. It's so funny because I know firsthand that when your adrenaline is pumping, you remember everything. Like if classrooms had a sense of danger, I would remember everything. And similarly, I'm sure it's such a phenomenal educational mechanism because people are getting this thrill and it's intense and then taking it all in. And maybe 10, 15 years later, they can tell you about the flora and the fauna on that zip line, not because that was their main event, but because the main event was so emotionally charged and intense that they remembered it all.
It's incredible. And I have people coming and say, I was there 7 years ago, and telling me the guides' names that took them down. So yeah, our business is about staff and they're wonderful.
Yeah.
But you're dead right. People remember exactly what happened at that time. It's amazing.
That's amazing. Fatima, I love ecotourism because you want to preserve these phenomenal nature reserves. You want to look after them. You want to love them and maintain them. But that is expensive. And ecotourism is where, you mentioned with the relationships, the partnerships that CapeNature creates with people like Ryan, that there's like a percentage of earnings goes back to CapeNature. It also creates employment in that. But it really does feel like, almost in the way that we all want solar so we don't have to think about ESCOM, we want nature reserves to pay their own way ultimately at the end. And ecotourism is an amazing way to do that because it means that it doesn't matter if there's a late payment from a government department. You can confidently go, that nature reserve is going to look after itself.
And that's really with the introduction of our beautiful eco lodges. So when I started at CapeNature, probably 15 years ago, initially we had very few lodges, mostly staff accommodation that was converted into sort of accommodation offerings for visitors. And we've evolved so much. Sure. Just with the current venue that we're in now, a lot of our accommodation is set in a sustainable manner. So we take care of the environment, and that's really important to us. It's important that we do not have flushing toilets, for instance.
And that they are less gross than a flushing toilet.
Yes,
because very often people are like, well, you're going to put me in like a porta potty? And it's like, no, this is really good the way this works.
No, it's absolutely fancy.
Yeah.
So, and we really take care of nature. It's not just about, getting the funding and the money, etc., but it's really about taking care of the environment. And that's at the heart, really, of everything that we do.
And I have to say, similarly to Ryan giving these people high octane experiences through which they learn and understand and develop their relationship with nature, I've stayed in a few of these eco lodges with, the gardens on the roof and all of the little things and the solar and all of that. And there is another thing about living normally, but in a different way. So like this is all the amenities and all of the comfortable ways of living and feeling good that I have in probably a very energy and efficient, wasteful city apartment in Johannesburg. And what a learning experience of going, oh no, this is normal. This can work normally. And I can do a greener way of living while not losing anything of my life. It's really cool. It's like instructional.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you feel like every time you come home from an ecology, like, why can't my house be more like this?
Yes. But I think people are moving towards that. I mean, especially if you look at the way people are looking at, bringing more light in, having bigger windows, just the lighting, making sure that it is eco-friendly. And I do think that there is a movement towards that. Travelers, for instance, are looking for more meaningful travel. They're really wanting to make a positive impact on conservation in the community. And we are seeing that. And we're seeing that from the younger market. Traditionally,
Yes.
it was more from the older market. But yeah,
Yes.
there's a big movement now.
I think TikTok's done this beautiful thing where young people are now seeing more of the wonderful world around them and going, we're going to be here much longer than our parents. We'd
Yeah.
like it to be like this for much longer.
Absolutely.
So interesting. So have you been, I'm sure you have been privy to feedback from both local and international visitors about what is most rewarding about staying on a CapeNature accommodation. What are the kinds of things that they say?
So our biggest market is the local market, which we love.
That's great, yeah.
And so the most rewarding things that we receive is they actually love that there's no connectivity.
Oh yeah, digital detox.
Yes. And so, I've got 2 kids myself, and they are always on their phones. When they get to a nature reserve, digital is off, family time it is, and just, a walk in nature, the learning experience, going away and actually learning a bit more about nature and sort of going back to your roots, that type of thing. We are introducing and making our accommodation site specifically a lot more so that it's sort of set in nature and that it doesn't feel like this big grey cement building in the middle of, the jungle. So we're taking care of everything, and it's a considered sort of experience that we are wanting to give our visitors.
And I imagine because, each nature reserve is different, no one's going to go, oh, that's my favorite Cape Nature Reserve. I'm just going to go there for 100 years. You want to go to Kogelberg and then Rashapan and then Algeria.
Absolutely.
Because they're fundamentally different.
Exactly.
And the kind of like encounter with the environment is different.
Yeah. Absolutely. So at Rashapan, for instance, you get to do bird watching.
Yeah.
Walk to the bird hide. So every reserve does offer something different.
My favorite is Algeria because I come from a Cedarburg hiking
Oh,
family.
do you?
So base camp is not for chilling.
Yeah.
Base camp is where you wake up and then you walk the whole day and you come back gross and sunbattered, but you feel so good and then you can still be in this phenomenal area. Ryan, I wanted to ask you about how, we all know how important digital detoxes are, and we all know how much of a phenomenal antidote to the modern world nature is, and about how good it is for mental wellness. But particularly for the kind of people who come and do the Cape Canopy Tours, the fact that they are getting a real world experience in a context where I think many people's lives have gone into their phone and life is so soft and convenient. And then you go out and you really do something. It must be such a gear change for people from their normal everyday life.
It is. It's, people stepping outside of their boundaries a lot of the time. And although you have to be present when you're there, you can't be on your phone. You can take photos, but you have to be absorbed in the mountains, sliding, enjoying what you're doing. But then looking back on those memories is also just as important.
Yeah.
And remembering what it was like when we did experience these, awesome adventures.
And where do you see the new trends going in terms of the way that people are like to enjoy the outdoors? You've both spoken about more epic experiences, more adventure-filled experiences, exciting experiences where you can go, I did that. Where do you see, or where have you heard from customers or visitors the new trends of what people want to experience when they get out into the world?
Oh, how long have you got?
Top 3.
Yeah, no, exactly. We keep tabs on things that are happening overseas. Obviously, safety is really important, but people want to experience nature in a real way. They really want to do something that's not curated or fake. They want to get in there and they want to have a good time, but it needs to be real. And unique.
Sure.
And be able to see something and then tick a box at the same time. Where they can take their friends and family. That's accessible to everybody as well. So it's finding a balance that's not too crazy. Everybody would like to, hang from the highest peak, but that's not accessible to everybody either. It's finding that balance where you can showcase something beautiful in a way that's accessible to most people.
And I'd like to hear from both of you about how this kind of ecotourism and entrepreneurship can directly help local communities. I mean, you've spoken with great passion in the last few minutes about your staff, your tour guides being so good and friendly and affirming and wonderful for the people on the zipline. But what about what the job rewards themselves? They must love it, and they must learn so much and really appreciate it, I imagine.
They do. I think, you got to have staff that buy into the same vision
Yeah.
as that we do. We're very lucky that we do something wonderful, and that our staff have a good time doing it.
Yes.
But it's just as important that you're involved with your local communities, that you are hiring from your local communities.
For sure.
And that they're involved, even if it's not necessarily as a guide, in a different way, that community forms one of the pillars of what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that's massive for CapeNature also. I imagine that there are so many examples across the different concessionary partnerships that you have with different businesses that do ecotourism. And it's wonderful to hear how much pride it gives people who this is their town, this is their nature reserve, this is their world, and they feel like they are caring for it, they're contributing for it, they're keeping it special. It must be so nice to see how different ecotourism partnerships can create that for communities.
I guess it's people of South Africa. They are very welcoming. And so people want to talk about the town, and visitors are eager to listen. They want to leave a destination having learned something. And so whether it is the tannie making the gebakte brood, for instance,
And teaching an American how to go gebakte, not gebakte.
or the lekker gebakte brood, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And leaving with that sort of knowledge and your ingredients and going back to your family.
Yes.
And that's really what it's all about. And when you are telling your story, and that's really about the story to tell, that is what I think excites visitors, but also gives that recognition to that particular community member or that staff member, because they are so passionate.
Absolutely. Now, Ryan, you guys are hitting your 10-year anniversary as Cape Canopy Tours. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's coming in the next 10 years? What are you excited about or looking towards for the evolution of your business?
Well, I think for one, we need to stay true to what we are currently doing. Yes, we'll look at a few other opportunities and we can see what can dovetail onto that. But we will still maintain the core of what we do, and that is this world-class ziplining experience we've got in the Hottentots Holland Nature Reserve, because we're just madly in love.
How often do you go on the zipline still? Do you pop in once a month and just experience it all over again?
I love going up there. It's good for the soul. I popped up there yesterday because we had snow on top. So I went to go have a look at the snow.
Can you still zipline in the snow?
You can zipline in the snow. Yeah. So we've got a couple of people there today who are ziplining through the snow, even though it's sunny. They're gonna have a great time. So I do. I try to go up as much as I can.
Oh, that must be such a treat. I mean, I've spoken with a lot of CapeNature people over the years, and this is your office. It's
really
amazing.
like it.
So one more time, Fatima, I'd love to hear from you for people who've watched this, people who are entrepreneurs, who love ecotourism, maybe even who do it already, and are now thinking, how can I get involved with CapeNature and take advantage of a partnership that benefits CapeNature and themselves? How do they go about it?
It's quite a transparent and easy and straightforward process. We regularly advertise on our website, through social media or print media, and applicants can send through business proposals. And what we do thereafter is we evaluate it against conservation efforts, the minimal environmental footprint. We look at business viability, we look at the community development angle, etc. And we're looking for innovative ideas. So welcome any business proposal.
And have you ziplined yet?
Have I ziplined? No, but Ryan did invite me, and so Ryan, we need to chat about that.
Yeah. What have you been too busy or too nervous?
Let's finalize the date. Let's finalize the date right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now on the record so that everybody can see it. Fabulous. So Ryan, you are the expert at this, and for many entrepreneurs watching, it's very, very clear that doing ecotourism has this added level of challenge, because you're trying to look after the environment, not just because you want to, but because those are the terms and conditions of doing the business. And also because it's expected of you from the people who come and zipline or come and engage with Cape Canopy Tours. What are some of the unique I don't want to say challenges, or it may be kind of like challenges, but like obstacles that are definitely surmountable and dealable with, that come with trying to be maximum good for where you are as well as maximum good for your business?
So I think expert's a big term. Learning every single day.
Yeah.
I'd be lying if we say we didn't have challenges along the way. For example, just last month, we had these torrential rains.
Yeah.
And, you got to sort of relook at the roads that are starting to wash away. We operate in these amazing locations, and I would never take it back. But being so far-flung does come with its own challenges. We want to make sure that we offer the guests such a unique experience. And like I said, we're not this like big sausage factory. So it's playing the balance between how do you make this economically feasible,
Right.
as well as, staying true to our ethos and our value, which we will continue to do.
Is it incredibly hard after a ton of rainfall to like do the safety checks to make sure the zip lines are still kosher, like everything is still good? Like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have to regularly go and check on them and how sound they are in these extremely difficult, like, I mean, as you said, no rangers had ever seen the location before you guys set up the Canopy Tours. It must be hard.
Oh, I could get into the technical side with you, but we go over and above.
Okay.
So we get geotechnical engineers to measure the rocks every year.
Wow.
We get an independent engineering firm to come and have a look at every single nut and bolt.
Sure.
We do many independent checks, but at the same time, we load test our anchors. We've got some wonderful rocks out there, but we anchor
Shout out.
each anchor can hold over 15 tons. And that was just the maximum pullout. So we know
So
it
it's
can hold
like
it.
way too safe. Like 15
We'll put in
elephants.
4 tons, 4
Okay.
anchors for every
Wow.
line, and the line can hold 17 tons.
Okay.
So if you're under that, I think you'll be all right.
Which is every human in history, by
Correct.
like comfortably every
Yeah.
human. Like you can
Yes.
say
In their Land Rover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's probably impossible, but when I think of a ton, everyone's like, oh, that's about a big elephant. If you could get an elephant on a zip line just for one shot,
Amazing.
I would be thrilled.
You bring the elephant, I'll get it on the zip
I'm
line.
gonna have to eat so much to get even close to that. Ryan and Fatima, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you to you for listening and watching this latest episode of Green Noise. As we continue to turn up the volume, make sure that we are giving voice to nature, sustainability, and biodiversity, and also make sure that we are having the full stories and the big stories of our natural environment and Cape Nature and the people who make it all possible come to life. Thank you so much.